Hey guys, Ryan from PD Evidence here, today to talk about the most important changes in some of the recent releases of the evidence management system. One thing you probably noticed right away is the new Help button at the top of your screen, which contains a link to the user manual. The user manual is constantly updated and is a great way to make sure that you're aware of all of the features and how to use them. There's also a link to the help desk for questions, problems, and suggestions. The same link to the help desk is available at the bottom of the footer as it always has been, and there's also a link to the changelog. The changelog is a detailed listing of all of the new features, bug fixes, etc., including the ones we're going to talk about today. The next thing you'll probably notice is a little bit of color change to the dashboard, and that's really just us trying to keep the interface as modern as possible. Next thing we're going to take a look at are some changes to the item view screen. Most significantly, a new tab has been created for court updates. The information that will appear here is case event updates from the AOPC. Those updates might be things like a guilty plea or that a preliminary hearing has been waived. This is not a replacement for a docket sheet. Ultimately, it's up to you to determine whether an item can be disposed of or not. I would recommend that if it appears the case has been closed based on case updates that you see here, that you then retrieve the full docket sheet and confirm things like that there's no co-defendants or any other reason why the evidence may still be needed for court. Back on the details pane, we're going to take a look at how to generate a disposition letter, and this is useful when an item is ready to be returned to an owner. So you can see that we have a person entered as an owner, and if we click disposition letter, we're going to get our agency disposition letter. The content of this letter you control through the administration tab, and you can see that the end result is a letter that we can print and mail to the owner. Let's talk about auditing for a moment. When viewing a list of your past audits, you'll notice a new column called Result. In the Result column, we're going to display a green check if the audit was completely successful and a red X if there was some type of problem with the audit. Let's take a look at a successful audit. We can see that there were two items in the particular location to be audited, which was the evidence high value vault. We expected to see both of them, and both of them were scanned. A new addition to the evidence management system related to this audit is the ability to generate a certificate of successful audit. This is really aimed at accreditation standards so that you have a proof that you not only completed an audit but did so successfully. Clicking this button, which is only available for a successful audit, will generate a PDF certificate that you can print and put into a physical file or just retain electronically. We also added a new screen called Auto-Generate Criteria. The purpose of this feature is to add a random element into your audits. So instead of you picking the location that's going to be audited, the system can randomly select one for you. When we use this feature, the randomly selected audit location in this case is a particular evidence locker. This has been added to the system log. So the fact that you were logged in, that you clicked this button, and that evidence locker 1BCG was selected as the random audit location has been added to the system log. The other section within auto-generate criteria is the item selector. And rather than our audit being based on a single location, what the item selector does is chooses randomly set a number of items for you to confirm their location. So if we go with the default of 5, the evidence management system is going to pick any 5 evidence items in any location and list them here so that you then go out and verify that those 5 items are exactly where they say they are. Checkout has 3 new features that we're going to walk through from top to bottom. 2 of those features are also available when moving items. The first thing I want to talk about is the Purge Digital Evidence checkbox. When I check this box, I'm going to see a warning message that all attachments to items in this transaction will be permanently deleted. This is so that when an item reaches final disposition and it has perhaps large attachments, we can reclaim that space within our digital evidence storage. Before anyone panics, these attachments are going to a recycle bin, so PD Evidence can restore those attachments for you within 30 days of the transaction that resulted in those attachments being purged. The second feature on this page are the orange bars in the item barcode box. If you're using a smartphone or a tablet, you can tap on those orange bars to activate the camera on your smartphone or tablet. You can then use your camera in place of a barcode scanner. And the last thing to talk about on this page is the ability to accept a second signature. So you probably already knew that you can accept an electronic signature when doing a move or a checkout. What you may not have realized is that after you accept the first signature, you can then add a second signature. And this is useful if you need to collect by agency policy 2 signatures for certain types of transactions. After you add the second signature, you're just going to want to make sure that you click Accept Signature, and both signatures are now stored. Both of these last 2 things that we talked about, the ability to scan by camera on your smart device and the ability to collect a first and a second signature, are also available when conducting move transactions. We're going to finish up talking about some administrative tools located in the table maintenance section. The first one is item type. We've added a new item type to your list, and you're probably not aware of it. It's called phone/tablet, and we have it disabled by default. I recommend enabling that. The only reason we don't have it enabled by default is in case you've already created your own item type for phones and tablets. We didn't want to confuse anyone. But I do recommend enabling it, and here's why. Once you do, and then you add a new item of evidence, you'll see that item type available to you. And there are also new breakout fields that appear for this phone tablet. It has to be literally phone/tablet in order for these breakout fields to appear, which include make, model, color, and serial or IMEI. Those are 2 different things, serial number and IMEI. However, both are unique identifiers for a device. The last thing I want to talk about in table maintenance is disposition letter, because this is where you control the language that will appear on the agency disposition letter. There are 2 special placeholder fields that you can use when you're creating your disposition letter. One is called agency name, and the other is called current username. Whenever I use agency name within the brackets, the system will automatically replace those words with your agency's actual name. Similarly, if I use current username, then the title and name of the user who is logged in at the time that the disposition letter is generated will automatically be applied to the letter. You don't have to use current username at all. If there's a particular person who is always going to be the one that's signing these letters, for example, the evidence custodian or the chief of police, then you can skip using this variable altogether and just put that person's title and name. The other thing you might be wondering is what these BRs are for. Each one represents a line break, so each one is the equivalent of striking the enter key. All right, we're in the home stretch now, and I wanted to let you know that when you add a new user to PD Evidence, the user will automatically receive a welcome email that includes a link so that they know how to log into the evidence system. Finally, a few changes to your agency settings. The first one is digital storage usage, and this is a gauge that allows you to see how much digital evidence storage your agency is consuming. The second one, user password requirements. This allows you to turn on a box to enforce password complexity so that users can't have very simple to guess passwords. The other option here is that you can set an expiration date so that users will be required to change their password. Finally, we made a change to the permission to delete items. Just as a quick review, PD Evidence never actually deletes an item of evidence. You have the ability to give your users a delete button, and you can decide that only administrators can have that delete button, or the case officer, everyone, or only the creating user of that item. So that's how you control who has that delete button. The delete feature is a way to remove an item from showing up on the dashboard and reports associated with that case. It does not actually remove the item from the system. Nothing has changed with respect to how we handle deleted items. What is new is that if you make this feature available to users, administrators will get an in-app notification. So a notification on the notifications icon to tell them that that delete has occurred. That's it. You made it through. I appreciate you tuning in. If you found this helpful, please feel free to leave a comment or shoot me a line via email. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you.